And now comes AI stage. If you ever heard me talking about the AI, I professionally worked with AI for like 5 years before I go full time with YouTube and music and everything. So I'm pretty invested in the topic as well because of that. I think there are already good AI tools, and in the future there will be even more AI. So get used to the idea that there will be algorithms that trained thousands of hours and do some of the steps better than what we're able to do. And it will just get better, right? You have more power with your computer or the computational power. That means that you can use your AI to train thousands of different tracks for hundreds of thousands of hours. You will never be able to train that amount of hours. And because of that, AI will get better. Like a chess, right? Chess AI tools, they will just be better than humans, and just accept it, get over it, and use it in your training sessions. Like exactly the way chess masters do, right? They always have these AI tools, and they just look at what AI would do, and they learn from their moves. And it's exactly what we are doing over here. What I tend to do oftentimes, like run like something like Ozone. Now we have Ozone 10 here, 9 doesn't matter. I actually like to take a look what Ozone suggests and see if I really want to do it. Oftentimes I take off like 90% of the things Ozone suggests, but sometimes it shows me something and I was like, that actually works. Why am I going to keep it? And I'm going to do the same thing, right? We're going to run this. What I like to do oftentimes actually use my own kind of tracks as a reference tracks, other than letting Ozone to pick something like random. What we're going to do, we're going to go for reference tracks and then peak techno cuts. Okay, here we have two space 92. They have now Neve thing. It has to be some certain length. What I'm going to do is take full track instead and see how good it will. Let's take Phobos. Yes. That's a very specific line. So what you need to do now, it is they have this over the hood. We have like, you can adjust the width match and dynamic match. I'm not gonna do like that. I'm gonna go instead like in under the hood and take a look what it does. It does slightly EQing. Like first look, what is that, right? It just doesn't make sense from my perspective. Boosting below 32 hertz. You're just gonna pull that off. I agree with this one actually. I don't like this idea either. We already have a multibass here. It's tiny. These are also, I think, not a good idea, but I'm gonna try this 8, and you can actually delete this one as well. Just gonna delete this one as well. I'm just curious about this slight boost here. To be honest, it works, but I have a better way of doing this. So I'm going to turn this off either. So that one didn't work. Okay, I think this is too much as well. The main reason I'm going to actually use Gullfoss for this one. I think this one sculpts a bit too much. Let's listen to this. I agree a little bit actually. Explain. I didn't touch this one because I'm going to use another tool here that is more useful. And here it just makes the things a bit more contained and lifeless. And I'm going to take this off because of that. And here this is like let's put it on 100%, but bring this down. This just looks awful. Let's turn this off. I never almost match my width to another track because it really depends on the elements that you have. I prefer to do it personally myself. And I'm going to put this all the way back, and I'm going to take a look at Dynamics EQ first. Okay, these ones I kind of agree, so keep this one, and I'm gonna bring this down. I'm using it almost kind of like a transient catcher at the moment, because I will have another limiters at the end. Now we will, okay, you are turning off everything. Like I said, it happens quite often that I turn off everything because I don't like it. Because AI oftentimes probably trying to match too much, and then you can of course come here and like bring it down, don't match that much, right? Or you can do it personally here. That's what I'm doing. But what I'm going to do now, put the imager before maximizer and then put an exciter. We can still be proud that we are probably still better than Ozone's AI. And then what I'm going to do, low end focus. For the low end focus, I'm going to smooth the things a bit up. Right? Now I'm doing this and there's like really tiny changes all the way up. Like you don't see in my mastering. Oftentimes I don't really like to make super big changes in a single stage. Rather make small changes oftentimes. It is even more true when I do my own tracks, because that means that I already enjoyed my tracks and it's after mixing stage, right? So if I see a need to make drastic changes, rather go back and fix and mixing. And for me, mastering is about making these small changes, and when those small changes add up each other, it will make a big change in the end. But it will be much controlled and contained. And that way you will keep, let's say, the timeline much more better than the original, and it also helps overall quality of the mastering much better, because those big changes at one single stage lends to the artifacts oftentimes. Hence I'm avoiding oftentimes big changes and doing like two steps, right? We were doing like a little solo and smoothing. We just take this super lows with the preambi, smooth a little bit, and now we are having this low end focus and smoothing one more time, meaning that first get the peaks a bit smoothed up and then smooth even further, so it's even more like a smoother in the end, rather than just getting fun and try to smooth everything at once, which oftentimes just doesn't work. And I'm gonna go to imager, and I don't like how it is actually done. I'm gonna go for, sorry, not imager, I'm gonna put the exciter first. Now, I'm going to turn the oversampling on first, just to avoid equalizing. And for this track, low end is already, I think, good enough. I'm going to just pull it all the way and turn this off. Don't touch it. And I'm going to use 3-band depending on what I want. I think in the mid area, we can try to warm it up by analog distortion. And in this, this area, probably we can try something like a triode to get a bit character out of it. And on top, I will use something like retro, because retro algorithm in Ozone Exciter has this kind of stereo distortion effect on that. I think they are slightly differently on the imager right and left channel, so it adds kind of that crispy, slightly stereo high end, which I really enjoy. So let's try. I tend to try first, go full, see if I enjoy actually this sound. Kind of quite enjoy it, but I'm gonna bring it down. Again, not that crazy. This means that it's just parallel processing. I'm keeping the original transients. Let's go for this one. Right, this will get really in your face to the sound. Just too much. I will be a bit more careful with this one. Yeah. And then comes my favorite part, retro. You can hear a bit better what's going on. I'm gonna keep it a bit simple. Turn off. Turn on. Not solo. You can hear this one a bit better actually. Okay. And now imager. And the imager part, I like to enjoy this triangle shape with my image, right? You have, let's say here, the frequency is like 20,000 kilohertz, and let's say here the 20 hertz. What I oftentimes do is like the more you go up, the more, let's say this is the stereo field, how much stereo you have, the more you go in the high frequencies, the more stereo you can get, right? And on the low end, you rather go like a mono. And oftentimes actually this curve doesn't look like this linear. This will be something like, if I draw it one more time, probably you will have mono a bit here, then maybe slightly here, and then things get a bit more, a bit maybe like this, and then probably like this, right? In reality, your probably signal, if you draw a line, will look more like this. All right, let's go. I'm just taking a look at this pretty mono until right here. I'm going to actually bring it ever slightly down. Right? Contain a bit more. Then, this area. I'm going to actually also bring it down a bit. Again, I want to contain it a bit more. And then here. Here can I have now my stereo. Maybe ever like this. And then finally here. Here you can go a bit more as well. You see, I take more from stereo field than I give, but listen now, it will feel more stereo because this area you cannot really, I mean in the headphones you realize, but you don't want to have it too much stereo. Listen now carefully. That's not so long. Get out. Because our ears are much sensitive exactly in this area. And even though it's a slight boost here, it gives a bit more stereo feel. Even in reality, total image is actually cramped down, I will say. Just another dirty tricks that your mastering engineer probably utilizing. And finally, I'm going to just bring this down to -4 because I'm going to run this one into another limiter. So I want to give myself a headroom there that I can run. Now you see the Suit, Gullfoss, you had Bulltech here as well. What I like to do first, run a bit of a Gullfoss. It just overall balances the things out. You remember those peaks and stuff? This is just kind of a full-scale automated resonance suppression kind of a thing, but it also changes the color slightly to match a pink voice, I will say. And you have different options. This is my like default kind of thing, right? You can always adjust that. This will be gentle adjusting your curve. I think this is good enough for this track. Again, you can play around. These are the settings that I created myself. I tend to enjoy. Great. And finally, Bulltech. This will just create a separation between super highs and mediums. You see that's like around 4K, a slight dip. Right? You can hear the separation here more. I like that in here. Too much. Cool. Again, it's also because it's my track, it's really frequency wise, it's just sitting there. I want it so that there is not much really boosting a bit there, because it doesn't make sense for me. Another EQ, doesn't need it. Why Suit and Gullfoss both at the same time? Again, we are not using this either. because sometimes if the track has super harsh hi-hats especially, I tend to use soothe only on that area. Like if I turn that on, pick something like this, let's say to soothe, like, okay, just here the hi-hats are super harsh, please help me with that, right? This type of things works soothe much better. And over color balancing, I will probably go for Gullfoss most of the time.